and welcome back to another episode of the MindSets podcast. Charles, how are we doing?
What a way to start the week.
That's true. They don't know that. What a way to start the middle of your week for you guys, but for us, this is the freshest Monday. Episode 78. We did the 3/4 of a century, what feels like yesterday.
I know, yeah.
And now we're 3 episodes down the line.
I know, we're flying through them.
This weekly episode thing is a great way to be productive.
It is, for sure.
We're going to kick off this episode same way we kick off every episode, 2-minute news. And because of the amount of sporting events going on, which we did foresee at the beginning of the year, we've got a lot to get through.
Yeah.
Shall I start us off?
Do you want me to set timer?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I can do it really fast. 3, 2, 1. Off you go.
Winter Olympics, so far, we have managed to retrieve 3 medals as Team GB, all of them being gold. Mm-hmm. So the first medal that we got was Matt Weston in the men's skeleton. He broke the track record the first run, and then he did it again on the second run and secured.
Why not?
And then secured himself the gold medal there. We then also had a reappearance of Matt running with the girl that I've been putting forward, which is, Gabby Stoker. They managed to get gold in the mixed sort of combined event. Did really well. That's another one. And then we also got mixed snowboard cross, first snowboard gold medal we've ever had. And that was fantastic. That was a really good one to watch. We pulled it back in the last turn. So that is the news from Team GB in the Winter Olympics. The next thing that's come out today is the Canada double touching rule breaking. If you haven't seen it, Canada have been accused of touching the stone with their fingers, which is double touching, which you're allowed to do before it crosses the line. This is in curling, by the way, if I hadn't said, sorry. But they're actually not allowed to touch the physical part of the stone. You're allowed to touch the handle as much as you want before the line. Yeah. But they've been touching the stone, and they've been swearing matches between teams saying, I don't effing do this. Like,
really?
And they're like, I'm going to show you a video after, mate. You've been doing it your whole career.
Why would you try and, when there's so many cameras, anyway, it's 2 minutes.
2 minutes, carry on.
So is that all of you you've got?
That's all of me from the Winter Olympics.
So the biggest one for me I'd like to report on is Keely Hodgkinson. Over the weekend, she ran UK Indoor Championships in Birmingham. She smashed her own national record by nearly a second. I think she ran 1:56.3, which puts her third all-time quickest 800 meters. So at some point she's going to break the world record, which is unbelievable. Then we've had the start of the Six Nations. There's probably 2 weeks to catch up on now. So big results. Italy beat Scotland in week 1.
Big time.
France beat Ireland pretty convincingly. England really beat Wales pretty badly. And then last weekend just gone, Scotland managed to beat England at the Calcutta Cup in Murrayfield, which was awesome for Scotland. Wales suffered again a pretty sad loss to France, and that's basically all I have to catch you up on.
I think this year Italy could be a bogey team. They could do some messing around with what's been going on.
Yeah, but Italy have been building for a while. I no longer look at Italy and go, that's a rubbish rugby team.
I think it was a few episodes ago I said that Italy are really good in the Six Nations for just winning the wooden spoon every year.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Wales are double in favour for sure. A few rest years. Okay, so that's kind of the 2-minute news. How close were we?
2:36.
Yeah, solid. Well, we're going to continue that theme of not being within the 2 minutes because there's actually loads of stuff going on at the moment, and I want to dive into it a little bit more. I think you guys would appreciate some of this. So one of the first things is we've been mentioning how GB have been doing in the Olympics. Kirsty Muir has been a standout performer for us. She's very young. I think she's early 20s. Snowboarder. She's been doing the slope style. She's been doing the big air, and absolutely gutting. I was mentioning to you before the podcast, but the slope style has been really interesting because the sun's been having a massive effect on the speed that riders are able to get into the jumps. So in her competition, there was pretty much a lockout top 5. You knew you were going to come in top 5, you just didn't know where. And she wasn't in that. But a lot of them weren't adjusting their runs to the speed they were going to be able to generate off the jumps, which meant that when she came into her final run, she had a real chance at sticking something. So Kirsty landed a great run, arguably unfairly judged to be a little bit lower than she'd have liked. She missed out on bronze by half a point, which is gutting. But I mean, for her first Olympics, incredible. And really interestingly, and this is a fun fact for you, Kirsty and the podcast were talking on TikTok about getting her on a couple of years ago because she had a pretty severe injury that she's been fighting back from. So first of all, well done to Kirsty for getting back to the Olympics and having that level of performance with the severity of her knee injury. And hopefully we might be able to get her down to London, because she is Scottish, get her down to London rather than Aberdeen, and see if we can get her to explain how she trained for that. So that's one thing. The next thing, let's look back at last episode. Big man Scotty James.
Oh yeah,
I was really hoping,
rooting for him,
that we were gonna see that gold in his hands. What happened while I was in between these episodes was I noticed that he ran a 98.75 point out of 100, by the way, so like basically perfect. And I was like, oh my gosh, has he done that in the Olympics? But no, it was the world champs in lax last week where he basically put down this perfect run, which is exactly what you would want a week before your Olympics. And unfortunately, I guess in many ways, he got silver, which is still crazy.
Yeah.
But
The Olympic curse.
Yeah, he ran in his first of the two runs, he got 93.5 points, still ridiculous.
Yeah.
But he was bettered, unfortunately, by Yuto Totsuka, who got 95. And then third place was Ryusai Yamada, 92. And Yamada has always been, he's young, but he's been back and forth with Scotty quite a lot. So those three, and also top five, there was Scotty in second, and then the other four in the top five are all from Japan.
Really?
Their snowboarding run is incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
One of the gutting things for Scotty in that was that he did a much better run on his second run, and on the very, very last landing lost his heel edge, and that was the difference between him
Fine margins
gold
on there.
and realistically, that's probably his last Winter Olympics, which is gutting. And then the final thing that I wanted to talk about from the Winter Olympics, and as a nice move on from final Winter Olympics, Lindsey Vonn. Now, Lindsey Vonn has been causing a lot of drama in terms of discussion points in comment sections about what she did. So as a recap, and I'm sure you know this because I think we've discussed it, she was having a ridiculously good world champ season coming into this year. And bear in mind, she's in her 40s.
Yeah.
You know, and we're seeing some rare athletes that are legends managing to keep their career going at that point. But she's had many, many injuries throughout her career, and she was finally on form for this Winter Olympics. Everyone's saying it's probably going to be her last because she's 42. Like when you're 46 doing a Winter Olympics, probably not going to be that great. But she came into this, and the week before, she absolutely tore her ACL off the bone. It wasn't like a partial tear, it was a rupture, it was gone. And her being her, she said, I don't care, I'm going to race anyway.
I'm gonna do it, that's mental.
Which is mental. And a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't do that. But I understand it's her last Winter Olympics. Then what happened for a lot of people that switched off from her until the Winter Olympics was they switched on and saw her in the second corner or the second gate of her downhill race. She hit a bump, she went over and broke her leg, and it was on the same side as her knee, and everyone's comments were, well, it looks like you do need an ACL to go skiing, and she shouldn't have done it. She's a bad example to younger generations. I want to know what your thoughts are on that situation.
I think just like in terms of her as an athlete, just in general, she's incredible. Like to be at her age, still competing at the highest level. And you say like going into the Winter Olympics at 46, there's probably sports in the Winter Olympics and the Summer Olympics that you can still compete at that age, you know, things that aren't as high impact to that. But downhill skiing, no. Like even at 42, it's like, it's incredible that she's had the resilience and like longevity to then be able to put her in a position where she's had a good World Cup season and she's still going to go and compete at the Winter Olympics. Is incredible. I think it's like, would the lack of ACL and the instability that causes in the knee have some sort of implication towards her not having the stability or the strength in that second corner, which may have caused her to therefore not break her leg? Maybe, but it's hindsight, isn't it? And also, like, people don't realize how much of the identity skiing is for her. That is her. She was going to compete, I think, either way. Unless she like literally couldn't walk herself to the start gate. So I would never encourage someone to compete with a torn ACL, but like you can't stop them. If I was in that position and it was like my Winter Olympics, of course I'm going to go and try it. She knew that was probably a risk, but even if she had a healthy ACL, there's a risk that you break your leg anyway. So I think people are too quick to judge, and also it's like, why do you care?
I'm not even remotely on the fence. I'm entirely on her side.
Yeah.
Not even like, from the standpoint of the fact that she is 42 competing and then 46, that's tough. if I was given one shot at the Olympics, I got injured the week before, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you're taking that opportunity away from me. The other interesting parts that happened between her injury and the actual event was, firstly, she recognized from previous injuries with her ACLs, skiing isn't actually an ACL dominant sport, unlike something like basketball, American football, where there's a lot of change of direction. Like, you are changing direction, but it's not like so sudden. There's a lot of load suddenly that you have to deal with through the joint, but it's not like a twisting motion so much in an ideal world. Obviously, she then ruptured it. She then continued training, and in the Winter Olympics, you don't just rock up on the day. You can actually run the course. You can do some of the test parts of the course out. She was one of the quicker athletes in the lead up to that. She wasn't just like, oh, she's able to get down. No, everyone was like, I think she's still going to win. She's still favorite. The other thing is the actual course itself, that second gate, everyone was having troubles. A lot of people were crashing out there. It wasn't like, oh, her ACL was the reason. If you actually see them going around it, I don't know why it was put in, because it is like, it's so steep, it was so rutted and icy, and everyone's just slipping down it, unable to. And if you hit it wrong, and I think she was an inch off, it was her hand clipped the gate, and if she was an inch to the left of it, she'd have been fine.
It's always,
and it wasn't like her knee that put her in that position. It's just maybe her knee didn't give her the stability. But even then, like, she could have not broken her leg and got up and gone again. Like, there's so many ifs and buts. But I commend her for doing it. And I think that actually she is a good example to put in place that, like, competition, if you're going to compete and you want to be the best in the world at something, you've got to put it down.
And it's like such a dominant female athlete. Like, she has had an incredible career. It's just like sad that that's probably the way it ends for her. But no one likes to see success story, do they? No, it's like they love it when someone fails, and like, which is like perverse in itself. But I think it is a real shame. But watching the downhill skiing is like, when they have the speedometer in the top right hand corner, you're like, you're a psycho.
You are absolutely flying. I've had a GPS on when I was skiing before. I wanted to see how fast I could go. I hit just over 100 Ks, which is really quick. For my skis, which weren't designed for that, they were flapping and vibrating, and I was like,
this is scary.
One bump, done.
But like, really dumb.
They're doing like in places they're doing like 130, which is insane. And they're doing that, and they just shoot off the edge, and like, they don't even look high off the ground, and the thing will come up showing you air time. It's like they were in the air for 4 seconds. 4 seconds is such a long time.
And like, there's no perception, is there, when you're watching TV, on how steep the slopes are. I always, when you see like big mountain skiing, and you're like, come on. And it's like, it's actually vertical.
Do you know what?
Can't see it.
I find really interesting. I don't know if people listening to this would have been to like the Alps or some mountains in summer, but if you go to a ski resort you've skied at and you go in summer and you see it without snow, you realize how steep
like you can't
is.
walk up it.
No.
It
is mad. Anyway, we're going to go into grind my gears, because Lindsey ground a lot of people's gears apparently. So I guess it's a bit of a life update. I managed to go to America for the first time last week, which meant that I was exposed to a lot of things that pissed me off, just with the Americans alone. But I'll hold back. I'll start off by saying that Americans just say the wildest things randomly. And I thought growing up playing Grand Theft Auto or other games where, like, you know, where there's the PC that's just playing a character, a non-playable character, will just say something really randomly in the middle of nowhere to no one as like a random statement. That happens, and I can't believe it happened. I was filling a drink up in a restaurant, and someone behind me with no one else around them also didn't look like they were talking to me, they just went, you know, that's what I don't get about bank robbers. Just let them have the money. You can print more. And then just carries on with their day. And I'm like, what the hell is going on in this place? This place is a simulation. And they just don't stop. They're so friendly. One guy found someone's chewing gum packet on the floor outside the plane. If this happened in the UK, that stays there. That's where that lives now until someone puts it in the bin. This guy picked it up, walked down the entire plane, checking with everybody in their individual seats. Is this your gum packet? Have you lost some gum? Did he work for the airline? No,
that's weird.
And so he delayed everyone leaving on the plane because he wanted to get the chewing gum to whoever it was. If it was me at this point and I was in like the 20th row, I'm saying no. It's not mine. I can't be the person that has caused this.
Yeah.
No.
Never admitting to that.
Americans is my first crime I get.
Yeah, I mean, that's mental. Yeah, I mean, you can't really believe it until you see it. Wild. My one is more close to home.
Okay.
I don't know whether I respect it or I hate it. I'm kind of like caught between two minds. So I was cycling home. It must have been Tuesday night, Monday night last week. Like, bear in mind, I'm finishing closing up the gym, whatever. It's probably like close to 9 o'clock. The weather we've had in the UK, it was raining and it was dark and it was cold. And I was cycling home and I was like, this isn't particularly nice. I'm going over Tower Bridge, my route down south over the river. Someone's running across the bridge, going for their run, chest strap on. I can see the fact he's got a chest strap on because he's running topless. Topless.
At this time of year,
So I
in
was
this
like,
weather.
Okay, it's raining. Maybe it's not that cold. I looked, it was 3 degrees. It was 3 degrees. It was raining. He had his top off with his shirt tucked into his shorts, wearing gloves.
That's some main character syndrome. Big time character syndrome.
I was just like, I don't know if I've actually seen that. I had to double take, but yeah, definitely running topless across Tower Bridge.
That's not okay.
Yeah, it's not okay, is it?
No.
I'm also like, even running topless in summer around Battersea Park is a little bit like...
Running across Tower Bridge, the tourism, everything that goes on there, like you just wouldn't go there unless you want to be seen.
Well, exactly. I guess I always avoid it, like no matter what time of day it is, but like in the evening it is quieter and it was raining, so it was quieter, but why is that on your run route?
So London, you're telling me that London has been plagued. Each end of London, from Battersea to Tower Bridge, there's bozos.
Oh yeah,
There's running bozos.
A load of bozos everywhere.
Next one I've got is, I feel like we mentioned this almost a year ago, but I have seen more people strength training in carbon plated shoes. And like the amount of wobbling is
it's an epidemic.
Crazy.
What were they doing?
Some standing shoulder press with dumbbells, and some planks, and then some like dumbbell press on a bench.
Oh, it's not
You
as
don't
terrible
really
as
need
like
them on a dumbbell press. Like, it's fine, but
it's not as terrible as they were like going for squatting or.
it wasn't like power.
Yeah. Oh my god,
Clean and jerky and
I'm
carbon
sure I've
plated
seen
shoes.
that. I'm sure I've seen that.
Another wild one. Have you got any more? I've got one more that I'll mention.
I'm leaving mine as it is. It's good enough for me.
I need to mention this one, and I'm going to show you a video which I will overlay here. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can enjoy whatever I'm trying to explain here. I'm annoyed that any sport can be a sport now, in that like you can just make something up and it's a sport. I thought it was great when I was seeing like the annual world champs of the American football that gets thrown onto a roof with the number of bounces and gets caught and it gets televised every year. I think that's fucking jokes. I think the beer mile's great.
Yeah.
Okay. What the people on YouTube will be watching right now is wrestling meets basketball.
Oh no.
And I genuinely do not understand. I haven't bothered to go and look at the rules because I'm going to continue watching reels until I understand what's going on and I can be an expert. But all I'm seeing is a basketball court with the hoops lowered.
Yeah.
So anyone can dunk. The court itself is foam.
Yeah.
And like
UFC style octagon flooring.
But there's no like, it's not enclosed at all.
Okay.
But like people are playing basketball, they're not bouncing the ball very much. So I think traveling's just like accepted. And then all of a sudden someone takes the t-shirt off and just like throws someone else over their shoulder. And there's just like no consistency to it. Other times, and when everyone's got their t-shirt on, people will like try and engage in a bit of wrestling and then the person with the ball will just shrug them off and go and dunk. And I can't work it out.
Teams of how many?
I think it's normal basketball teams.
What?
So it's like, it's not normal basketball teams playing.
No,
but I was going to say, it's not like LeBron James. But yeah, I can't even remember what it's called. I've written Wrestle Dunk League.
I mean, it sounds cool.
It is.
In my head, it sounds
but it's
alright.
annoying that like that can just exist to that scale as well.
When have you seen when people like meet up around like April time and they'll play their own version of the Masters? and they'll go like crazy, and they'll have a green jacket.
Yeah.
It's just like through the whole thing.
I'm
Or,
actually
like,
so for that.
whole backyard cricket. Have you seen that? Incredible.
So
yeah,
good.
yeah. The level to that is,
Yeah.
and the broadcast and the
Thing is,
unbelievable.
If the ability to like live stream and stuff like that was so easy on phones back when I was a kid, we'd 100% have done it. Because I remember having a cricket strip in the back of one of my friend's gardens, and we rolled every day with a wheelie bin. And like we played on that.
Oh,
thing
that's
so much. It was
good.
sick.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you got any more?
I think that sparked something in me. I just remembered on ITV now, new this year. Obviously, you've always had adverts on ITV watching sport before it started, whatever. They've now got in-game advertisement where they split screen at like one time per half. I don't know if you saw it, but in the rugby, when it's like a scrum and they're resetting the scrum and it's a bit slower, it like half the screen comes off and they start.
It's so American.
It's so American, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just like bring back BBC.
I know. BBC
just
puts ads breaks in.
Do they?
Sometimes with their own shows. Like, I don't.
Oh yeah.
I'm watching the show I want to watch. I don't care about that one.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna stick on to a similar theme to last episode, and with what's going on in the world at the moment. I think with the success that we're having in the Winter Olympics, we should continue talking about the training, because a lot of Winter Olympians, specifically in the UK, don't start that sport young. They discover the sport.
Yeah.
And in the example of our new hero within skeleton, Matt wasn't always in skeleton. He went through a pathway, like a discovery thing. So then he did some training with the military and all of that, but then he got into skeleton. He's been doing it for a very long time. He's won world cups, that kind of thing. But he's obviously in great form this year, breaking the track record every time. And I forgot to mention, when he did the mixed track and it was his turn after Gabby had gone, he broke the track record, his own track record again. Yeah. So he just like, that track is his home. Yeah. He owns it. But what we were going to talk through is how you train to be a skeleton athlete. Yeah. And then also versus another sport that we're actually pretty good at, which is curling, which I don't think gets enough credit. And do you know what? You can sit down and watch curling and be like, this is the deadest sport. Yeah. 5 minutes later.
Or you can get really into it.
So to it. Yeah. So I thought we'd talk about it a little bit. Now, in terms of breaking down skeleton, for people that don't understand, a lot of people will understand it as you run, you throw yourself on this tray, and then you bump your way down to the end. Yeah. It's actually not far off that. Yeah. But the first thing that's really, really important is that there's a 30-meter sprint distance where you are just hell for leather sprinting as fast as you can with one hand on the tray. And then, you're now running as fast as you can, and you have to launch yourself from sprinting to horizontally landing perfectly on this thing, which has been shaped to your body. Yeah. Then from that point onwards, you're generating speed purely by gravity helping you down, and you're trying not to hit the sides that slow you down. And you're doing it by slight adjustments in your shoulder positioning, slight adjustments in your feet. But what I didn't realize was the G forces are so high. You're talking like 5 Gs.
It's like pulling your face onto the ice, right?
Your face is actually on the ice for most of the run.
I saw an interview with Matt, and he was saying that you often hear a noise over the microphone. And he's like, yeah, that's my face on the ice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's like a scraping sound when they round the microphones on the cords.
So I don't know, and this would be a really interesting thing to ask, is like, if their face is in the ice, can they actually like see up very well? Because you see a lot of the athletes in a lot of sports where there's some sort of track or thing that they're following will do like pre-visualization.
I think they do that. I think they do that. Like,
and do they just know that this turn is coming, so I need to turn this much, or can they like,
I'm sure that's
against gravity, use their eyes to like see up just a bit?
Their eyes are being pulled closed. Yeah, I mean, it is fascinating. I'm sure there's like, we'll discuss it a little bit more, but like, it's just like a crazy mixture of, I think you obviously have to be like physically very strong and powerful, and you have to have good speed to get this tray moving. But then it's just like, how tapped are you? Like but then again, like you have, there's no choice because there's no break. No, that was something else. There's no break. No, because I think it was the same interview. They're like, well, how do you stop? And you basically just like cobra position on the tray. Yeah. To create more certain area and dig your feet in, which is like.
And you're obviously not going to do that on a turn.
No.
So
it's like once you're going because
you're doing, I think the number that I've got is that they're doing up to 140 kilometers an hour.
And when we were talking about the skiers doing like 120, 130, or you going over 100 kilometers an hour on sheet ice, where you're that close.
Yeah. And remember how fast everything feels when you are low down as well. So like when you're in a sports car, you could be doing the same speed as what you're doing in a 4x4
you're like
bus,
holding
like
on the sides.
So yeah,
it's incredible.
From understanding their training is actually very different to what we were saying with Scotty, because there's a lot of stuff that we discussed with his rotation and like being able to put explosive power out. They do have an explosive power part of their training because they have to train more like sprinters, because as we've said, most of the time benefit they get is in that first 30 meters. The 0.05 second difference is huge because that change in speed just across the whole run, if they can keep it clean, just continues to grow the gap, which is one of the reasons that Matt's so good, is his off the line speed is incredible. So if we then start looking at like sprint periodization, which is included in their training, and then like strength side of things, in the off season particularly, that's what they're going to be doing more of, because we're fortunate that we have good travel around the world. And we said this last episode where you can travel to cold areas, but depending on your sliding time, sliding as it's called, crazy expensive. So like spending a day there versus doing loads of training and like just sort of practicing in another way possible for the skills is way more beneficial to your pocket when you're not a very well funded sport, especially in the UK, to do more stuff and more work in the gym. So in terms of what a week might look like, again, have put together like a loose plan, but it's still going to be training twice a day if you're a pro athlete. It's probably pretty normal. First thing though is going to be more of your like acceleration work, so some short sprint stuff, kind of going through the mobility, the A skips, the B skips, C skips, everything, going through the whole alphabet, but like doing your body control, which again in sprinting, being able to control your lower limbs very precisely when you're doing like a really short burst of acceleration is like super important. The other thing that's interesting is in their training, you're not necessarily sprinting in a normal position, because unlike a normal sprinter where you rise, you're obviously having to stay low. So what I found was on a Norwegian website,
here we go,
if you're interested in getting into skeleton, they've given you a good strength and mobility program to follow. So for this, to begin with, they've got 3 levels. The first level, I'll read these out: back extension on a like a
this is just like bog standard,
really bog standard to get everyone in.
S&C, isn't it?
So squat, forward lunges, jumping lunges, rotational strength like a pal-off press, short speed skating jumps from side to side, side plank, side lying, groin strength, like Copenhagen kind of thing, and Nordic hamstring curls.
I think honestly, based off the work we did with was Scotty, and I could be a Winter Olympics sports specific S&C coach.
I think you should. I think I would love that if you were. Then you go up a level to these next 8 exercises, where you've got the wiper, where you're lying on the floor with your legs going side to side. You've got single leg squats. You then got forward lunges, again, more pal-off press, Copenhagen adductors, single leg body tilts, which
it looks like an aeroplane.
It looks like a single leg RDL in a way.
Maybe.
Long speed skating jump. Not entirely sure, if I'm directly honest with you, what the difference is between short and long as an exercise, and then more Nordic.
I'm going to go out on a guess and say one's further than the other.
Maybe. That's a fair guess. That's why you would be a great S&C coach.
Just jump a bit further.
The next one, we've got more balance being brought in. So for level 3, which is the top level, is where they've got like your favorite thing, the Bosu ball, flipped upside down. So you've got squats.
See, that's where it's applicable,
there
like sport specific. But they don't. Why do they have that at Pure Gym down the road for all of the?
For Matt,
obviously. Sorry,
and
for everyone who's now going to get to skeleton.
Single leg squats, squat challenge is where it starts ring coordination in. So you've got like tennis balls, and you're on the Bosu ball balancing. Single leg squats, Copenhagen's, the diver, which looks crazy. It's like an RDL, but with your hands out in front on a single leg, and then more hamstring curls. And apparently, once you've got to a level of being able to do these exercises, you're at a good level to start considering actually transferring some of your skills and your speed work into on a T tray. Which is really cool.
Ready.
Yeah. I feel like we do enough of that.
Maybe we should. I'm ready.
I'm genuinely very keen to have a go at skeleton.
Yeah, I'm also like, really I'm terrified, but I'm really fascinated like with the training. But my point of like vision is coming from it I don't know why, but it became really popular maybe 3-4, maybe it was the last Winter Olympic cycle. Lots of CrossFit athletes in their off season started getting into bobsleigh. I don't know if it was a similar thing where I think they were all Australians. It was James Newbury and Tia Toomey, when they were both like fully in on CrossFit before they started doing high rocks. I don't know whether that was like an Australian talent pathway, similar to what I'm assuming Matt did, where they were like, these are really powerful athletes and they're really athletic and they've got good, strong core. They don't necessarily understand the ways in which the bobsleigh works. They don't have to steer it, but they're just going to create good force down the track and then jump in.
Exactly.
So like their training, obviously for CrossFit is much more broad in terms of all of the different exercises, and they're doing lots of gymnastics and Olympic weightlifting, but it's the transfer from Olympic weightlifting. I think Tia and James maybe both have backgrounds in sprinting anyway. So it's just like when you're looking to select someone for skeleton, no one goes to school when they're a kid and goes, oh, I want to do skeleton. They might do now because they have role models to look up to. But especially when I was at school, it's like kids want to be footballers. They want to play rugby. They want to do X, Y. No one really thinks of a niche sport. So talent scouts have to go and say, okay, well, who's the really fast, explosive kid? Maybe we can like coerce them into doing sled or skeleton or something like that. And it's, I had a conversation similar to this with someone about 10-meter platform diving. How do you get into that? Or they go to the gymnastics gym and they find kids who are really good at gymnastics. Maybe they're not going to be the best gymnasts, but do they want to jump off something really high and go splash?
I don't know if I've mentioned this to you, but a lot of mogul skiers are formerly from a gymnastics background, because you get heavy point scoring on the technicalities of the tricks that you do between the moguls. And then the rest of it's just a race. Interestingly on that as well, don't know if you've seen this highlight. One of the guys who I think ended up getting the silver medal won his heat race in the moguls after he hit one mogul so wrong, he came off the jump that was straight after sideways, went round, pulled his trick anyway, landed kind of sideways, hit another bump, which meant that it caught him, stood him up backwards, and he went through the last mogul field backwards and won the race.
Really?
Unreal.
Unbelievable.
Crazy. But yeah, so as you were saying, there's a lot of transferable skills from like fast moving power Olympic lifting that goes into a sport like this, because again, you are generating that accelerative speed.
Much sprint. So it's like, I would just look at probably the same as like when the athletic, like 100-meter runners, they're running off season. When they're starting to get into season, they do all of their stuff indoors. Hence why Keely was running indoors earlier this week, and they're doing 60 meters because there's not a 100-meter track indoors. So it's like they're training for 60 meters sprinting is probably very, very similar to this. You just don't have like the skill acquisition of having to be accurate and jumping onto the tray into the right position. And that's just like the sport of repetition, a bit like practicing long jump or triple jump or high jump. It's like takeoff, where my feet need to be, where my hands need to be. It's like, it's really fascinating.
Well, the next thing that's really interesting is you look at like any sprinters, they're usually generally pretty well built. And that there is grounds for that as well. In the upper body, however, a lot of the training they have is they need to be slight enough that aerodynamically is not having a massive impact, which when they're in those suits and like with how bulky you can get, it's not going to make a huge impact. But the big thing is the protection element of it, because you are going to hit the side, and if you dislocate your shoulder because you slam into it, and then you can't actually steer very well, you're out of the competition. Not great. But the main thing is also just general mass, because the momentum that you want to conserve. So as much as it's the general understanding from the research that I have is there is a positive linear trend in upper body training as well as lower body training and strength, as long as the accelerative speed doesn't change. As soon as you cross the line, you need to start losing weight again. Because you basically just need, all that you should care about is acceleration. And if you build more upper body mass and you can hold it, then your momentum into the run means that you end up going quicker and you lose less speed if you do make impact in turns.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I think I don't know where he's based, if he is based in the UK, because I think it's Bath University that have a big winter sports center, and they do a lot of the indoor training there, and they'll have like it looks like a bobsleigh, but it's just like a metal cage with the handles on the side, and it's like you can load it full of weight, and they'll just like run up and down.
Oh, really?
I'm sure there's probably something similar.
I know this is originally from Surrey, but that absolutely means nothing in terms of where he could be now.
Maybe my knowledge on that is like outdated, and there's probably more places around the UK where you can train, but I would actually still be surprised. Yeah, to be honest. They have some amazing facilities there for winter sport.
Well, there you go. If you've been inspired to do skeleton after this year, go to Bath University if you haven't gone yet.
Well, do you know what? Like, I hope it does, because like we don't necessarily have the best pedigree in GB for winter sports, but off the back of this, we've got 3 gold medals. Yeah. And like they're in niche sports, but whatever. Like, hopefully it sparks more people to get into it. And like, what's the snowboarder? Remind me.
Kirsty.
Yeah. Like she's 20 years old, so it's like she's got a great career ahead of her. And hopefully inspires lots of other girls to get into snowboarding or something similar.
If we round off that sort of training programming, what it might look like, again, we've mentioned the importance of our body, but also plyometrics with anything where you're doing running is always useful. So that's what Tuesday would look like, not necessarily a double session unless you split the plyometrics and the upper body out. Wednesday, again, a bit more sprinting work, a bit more sort of deliberate movement strength work around sprinting to kind of build the strength and the muscles that are needed specifically. Again, Wednesday, as you're getting close to the season, you'd probably try and do 2 sliding sessions a week, I'm told. And so you might do one of them midweek and then one of them towards the weekend. Again, a lot of these athletes do have full-time jobs as well. Yeah. Because they're in these sports. So they have to try and prioritize that on a weekend.
Crazy amount of money and stuff.
You might have a rest day after one of those days where you've been on the track because you might have had a few bumps. It might have been a pretty intensive day. You might have also had a lot of travel because then there aren't just a few in London, a few all over. So you've probably flown somewhere.
Are there dry slopes? Is that a thing?
There are dry.
It's basically like a slide.
Yeah, but then you're not getting the same technical challenges as ice. Because you can't. You won't slip. You won't suddenly hit it. So finding places, and that's why off-season training might look very different. Yeah. And then again, we're going into still a large dependence on leg training through like into a weekend with explosivity. Kind of. It's not plyometrics if you're adding loads of weight necessarily, but then kind of looking at those movements as like a trap bar deadlift with a jump and then catching yourself, that kind of thing. Again, topping up with a bit more
it's force production as well. Force absorption.
But the main thing, as we've said through this whole thing, is like how fast can you get in 30 meters? Yeah. And how accurately can you then jump on the board? Yeah. And on the skeleton, on the tray, and then how accurately can you steer yourself down with minimal body movements, and that element of it is more experience than anything, and feel.
I've got so many questions. I'd love to know how much the tray costs.
Oh, that's a great question. I know the diameter, the sizing of it.
Tell me the diameter.
So for
something so small, I reckon it's embarrassingly expensive.
The sled weight, 43 kilos for men.
Wow,
it's actually quite heavy.
Yeah.
Which is good because it means it doesn't slip around
to rails.
35 kilograms for women. And then
so it's set weight. Yeah.
And then 80 to 120 centimeters in length, but that's also massively dependent on the body. So they are fitted so that you'll see the handles. The handles aren't straight lines. Yeah. They might have been one day, but they're now like shaped to the body. So like you sit in it, which kind of cradles you a bit more. But yeah, a lot of the trays are also largely made out of carbon fiber where they can be. Yeah. And then a lot of the weight goes at the bottom in the actual run.
We should do some research for the next pod to see how expensive it is.
Okay.
I'm also like, I wonder what the similarities...
Maybe that could be a game. Guess the price of something.
That is, that's a good idea. Also then the similarities between neck training that F1 drivers do and neck training that skeleton riders do.
Yeah, that skeleton riders.
Yeah, the skeleton riders. Because I'm sure there's lots of similarities there as well, you'd imagine anyway.
But then we're going to go into this opposing sport.
Let's go.
Which GB's also been really good at. Unfortunately, we've actually not had any medals so far this tournament, but there's still so much curling to go. Yeah. So curling, there's quite a bit more of the skill element to this, but again, I've been watching in the lead up to this. BBC have gone and got some average people, and got them to do it. And there's things that you don't even think about. The slide when they're going to push it and they push themselves off. The balance that's required for that is insane. Oh yeah, because you are on sheet ice. You're on normal shoes that have got a metal bit on them or like a slidey bit, and then you're actually leaning on that brush to balance yourself and then deliver it perfectly with the right spin and everything.
Oh no, it's one of those ones where if you are very good at it, you make it look so easy.
And I think the distance from the release point to the center of the target they're aiming at is something like, it's either 40 yards or 40 meters, but either way, that is long.
Yeah.
And you don't see that on TV.
Yeah.
Because the camera's just like above the target and then watching them release.
Yeah.
So there's actually a lot more to this. The next thing in terms of, we've said balance, we've said power that you're going to need for like releasing the stone, which doesn't look crazy because a lot of the power comes from the push off in the first place. Power for the brush usage.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the video of the brush that snapped?
I was going to say this, and how hard his hand hit. Yeah. I don't know if he hit the stone or the ice, but I was like, he was in some serious pain. Yeah.
So they put serious load through that. And again, if you think about how, I don't know if you've like brushed the floor before, if you're just brushing it, you know,
really vigorously
around the gym, you just your heart rate actually does get up. But if you're trying to do it as much as you can, you're like pushing as hard as you can with your whole body weight. And if you actually watch them, there's not a lot of their feet are on the floor. They're doing a really good job of like just being on their tiptoes, sliding along, putting all their weight through it. Like they do get heart rate spikes. And they do need to do aerobic training.
The accuracy around not hitting the stone and whatever. Yeah. That'd be another one to guess, because I'd like to know how expensive a brush is.
I'd like to know how expensive a stone is.
Yeah.
Because the stone, it has got a metal handle.
Yeah.
And the light is green if they let go of it before the line.
Oh, it's red if they don't. In it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. There's lots we need to learn. It is fascinating, but yeah.
So their training is a lot more about accuracy and skill set and balance and that sort of thing. But there is still a requirement to do the S&C side of it for the power to push off and to be able to be consistently accurate and having good motor control.
This is going to be really ignorant. There's always one stone pusher. That's their job.
No.
They all have to do it.
They all take it in turns.
Okay. So that then changes, because it's like...
So you've got different formats in curling. You don't have a solos.
Okay.
So you're always on a team.
Yeah.
So you've got men's doubles, women's doubles, you've got mixed doubles. You've then got the team events where you can have mixed team. So 2 girls, 2 boys. And then the same you can have for men, for women.
Yeah.
But
we've covered all bases.
In the way that it's done, you take it in turns on ends to throw stones. I don't think, however, based on what I've watched, unless I'm wrong, that you necessarily have to take it in turns one by one. I'm pretty sure I've seen the guy throw 2 stones and the girl throw 2 stones, and you do tend to have a better stone thrower. Obviously, in a mixed doubles, generally from a strength perspective, the men have a better output on the brush, so you do end up taking that on. So a lot of the time what you have, and this is why it might seem somewhat confusing, is that sometimes the women will be down lining the guy up as he's aiming and like give him an aim point to start off with, and then he'll throw it and then he'll get up and start brushing it himself because he's going to do a better job of that, and it's her job to just guide it in and then maybe help at the end. And then whereas when a woman throws in a mixed doubles team, quite often the man immediately starts doing the brushing and then she again just helps out if she needs to at the end. That's not like 100% true. Like if the guy's been brushing 3 stones in a row, then he might need a rest. But it also depends on the shot. Like sometimes there is no intention to do a nice curled shot in. It's just like smash this one out of the way. But yeah, it gets hugely technical. And when you think about, so it's an end is like one mini game. You need to win the majority of ends across 10. You need to across a game of 10 ends. But in their training to play practice games, they're not often doing 10 ends because that's a long time. Each end takes about 15 minutes. So just in sheer training volume, it's actually quite a lot of time spent out there. Again, we said the same thing about skeleton, but time on the ice is expensive.
I bet.
So they are sometimes doing double days in terms of the skill of trying to hit a shot over and over again, but they might do a 6-end game in a scenario where they're like 5 down. So how do they tactically take that?
Sure, I get it.
Because there's rules within curling as well. You might see that most games, especially in the mixed format, and this is something I learned this year, was there's always a stone or 2 stones put out before the game starts. And that's depending on who's got the hammer, which is the last throw. You can put your stone somewhere as like a shield. So quite often it's always in the same place. It's like slightly ahead of the target, so you have to curl round it. Sometimes people just put one dead in the middle and they've got their own tactic for that, but then they do all of that scenario stuff. But they might be playing only 30 ends a week, which doesn't seem like a lot, but then when you convert that into multiply it by 4, that's 120 minutes. Is that right? That is multiplied by 4, but I don't think that's what I was trying to do. It should be 30 times. Oh, yeah, it's 100. Wow. Struggling with this one. I think that's 12 hours of curling if you do 30 ends.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do 30 ends, I think that's 12 hours of curling, like actually playing the game. So then there's all the other elements. Like we said, you do need to do strength conditioning. You don't necessarily need to be doing like erg threshold stuff, but you do need to be active out there, probably still running, that kind of thing, keeping the body in a position where like it can deal with sudden increase in heart rate.
I think also like it doesn't seem particularly like challenging in terms of like physical, but it's also a lot of concentration. So the fitter you are, the easier it is for you to be able to concentrate over long periods of time when you are actually active and moving around. So I think that plays a part. I'm sure like flexibility, like some of the positions you get in when you're lunging and like you're bending over with the stick when you're brushing the ice as well is like, I'm sure like S&C is a very small part of what they're doing. Because it is like, it's just skill and repetition based.
One of the things with their sport as well is that they get to, they'll do training in these tournaments. So just because they're competing doesn't mean they won't train during this, because they'll be working on weaknesses or shots they got wrong. Yeah. But that often means, and they were doing an interview, they got up, they were on the ice practicing at 6 a.m. They then played their first game at 9 a.m. They got off the ice at 12 midday. They then had their second game starting at 4 p.m. And then they had practice again at 10 p.m. that night, and they were back on at 6 the next morning. It's actually quite intense for a sport that's seemingly low intensity.
That's a lot of volume. Yeah, that's a long day.
And so they're spending a lot of time. They're absolutely shattered when it comes to tournament. And that's the other thing, is like their endurance of being able to continuously do that output, because the reason that they're also playing so much isn't, I mean, we've said there's multiple formats, so you might have a mixed doubles in the morning, you might have a mixed doubles in the afternoon, but then they actually overlap with the women's team, and then all of a sudden you're doing that as well.
I'd love to know, like, again, like the pathway, how you've got into curling, especially in a country I mean, there's...
So it's actually it is quite big in Scotland.
I've heard that, yeah.
And I do think that it's a thing, it's a bit like lawn bowls. Like I actually know a few young people that have played lawn bowls when they were younger. And I wonder if it's just that sort of like, you have a family member that does it, or maybe, again, off the back of the Olympics, because I can't remember what year it was.
This and you go, well, I want to try it.
Yeah, I think there was an Olympics early on in the 2000s where we won a gold medal, and it was one of the best.
I remember watching it, and the last couple of years we've been quite good at it.
Yeah.
And people are like, GB have got really into it.
Don't get me wrong, if there was a place where I could do it locally, I would definitely go down and do it.
You definitely go and try. Yeah. But then is there like an equivalent that you can do without the ice? That's
bowling.
Yeah, I guess. But you're not sliding around.
Wii bowling.
Yeah, exactly.
Curling.
Yeah. I'm sure that exists.
It does exist. I've got it over there.
Sorted.
But yeah, no, just very different sports, very different ways of training. Yeah. Both relatively intense.
Oh, yeah.
In actual fact, from what I said of the curling training versus skeleton, I'd rather do the skeleton training.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to.
No. I'd rather do some hay skips and stuff in the morning and do a bit of squatting.
Yeah.
Spend that long
hole yourself down a nice slide.
Anyway, that kind of brings us to the end of the topic. If you guys found that interesting, we'd love to continue doing that with the sports this year. However, we're going to take a break from the podcast a little bit. We've got to do something for the first time.
I know. Awesome.
So we're going to do a quick sponsor break. This week, we're talking to those of you that have probably come along because you're into hybrid racing. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm assuming that you have some level of interest in high rocks or other similar sports like that. We, this time, have been given a package, and we're being sponsored by High Socks and Podium Chaser. So we've actually got some items that they've sent us. So I'm here holding some of their grip socks. We've got them in all different colors. I've actually given a go to some of the bright pink ones.
Very good. Good choice.
But they have grip on the bottom. For those of you that are watching, you'll be able to see this. Essentially what that means is you're going to have slightly more grip in your shoes. A lot of people will use lace lock when they're doing their races. A lot of people complain about their feet coming out of their shoes when they're doing sled push, kind of thing. If you can't do lace lock, if you like running in Alpha Fly 3s, you can't do lace lock on those. So your shoes might come out. Your feet might come out of your shoes. Using something with a bit of extra grip on the bottom can prevent that from happening. But also when you're going around some of the turns, because some of these high rocks courses have crazy sharp turns, helps with that foot movement, gives you a little bit more support. And then we're also being given cool things like the Podium Chaser hat. If you are chasing podiums this season, do it in style. So if you are looking to add some of those items to your bag or your checkout, then make sure you put MindSet 15. That is MindSet 15, all caps, into the checkout. That helps us out. That helps you guys out with 15% off. And then you can tag us when you guys get your orders. We'd love to share them, show us what they look like in the race, and give us your feedback. We'll be testing a few of the products out ourselves and giving you more feedback on those. So yeah, please go ahead and do so. Now, back to the podcast. We're into the game section.
I'm excited.
It is my turn. I've been really enjoying putting together the Guess the.
They've been good.
So we've done Guess the Athlete
Yeah.
twice. We're not doing that this time.
Oh, no.
This time, we're doing Guess the Sport.
Cool.
So I'm going to give you clues on sports, one at a time, and you're going to tell me what you think the sport is. Okay? For those of you listening, play along at home, wherever you are listening. See if you can get the sport before Charles gets it. As soon as you get it, shout it out.
Okay.
This time you're not going against Roscoe.
I know.
But
The
if
pressure
you get
is
it
not good
wrong,
for me. Yeah.
you lose.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
So don't guess unless you're confident.
Okay.
So
Let's go.
round one. The longest ever match, 11 hours, 5 minutes.
Tennis.
Do you not want any of the other clues?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, that is spot on correct. As I say, most players at a time is 4. Uses a ball.
Yeah.
The current all-time leader is Novak Djokovic.
I didn't need it.
I wasn't going to give you his name. I was going to say the current leader for all-time winning prize money is $160 million.
Oh. You should have said of
Novak
the most ultimate athlete ever.
Right, so next one. That was very good. Okay, the highest ever number of goals scored, 21. Has 12 players on a surface at a time. Game is not played with a ball. Great Britain has won Olympic gold in this sport. Canada has won Olympic gold 9 times. And that's your final clue.
6 on 6, and you're scoring 20. And it's not played with a ball.
It's not played with a ball.
Oh no, 6 on 6.
6 on 6, not played with a ball. England's won an Olympic gold in this sport once. Canada's won Olympic gold 9 times.
And it's on a field.
A surface is what I said.
It's on a surface.
Yeah.
And it's not played with a ball.
It's not played with a ball.
It must be played with something.
It's round. It's not a ball.
Is that like there's a terminology for it's actually a ball, but it's not called a ball.
It's not a ball.
But it's round.
Yeah. I can hear the people at home
Screaming at me.
at you.
And Canada are good at it.
Canada are really good at it.
Is there a net?
There isn't it.
It's volleyball.
It's not volleyball.
I was banking on
You're
volleyball
wrong.
being named something different.
Unfortunately, it is ice hockey.
Nah, I was gonna say ice hockey, but I was like, surely we haven't won an Olympic gold in it.
1936.
No, get out.
That's a great fact.
That's huge.
That's a great
I
fact.
even had hockey in my head as well.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Okay, next one then. Clue number 1. We've got Olympic matches consist of 3-minute periods.
Okay.
Competitors wear conductive clothing. There are 3 distinct disciplines within this sport. A target area changes depending on the discipline. Points are scored by making contact with the tip or edge.
It's an Olympic sport.
It's an Olympic sport.
And you wear conductive clothing.
You do wear conductive clothing.
Summer Olympics.
Could be.
Oh, that's tough for me. The tip or edge.
I would also say that this is one of the oldest sports in history. So this predates the Olympic Games.
I reckon it's something like wrestling. But why would you wear conductive clothing?
That's
So
a
you like
question.
touch contact. It's like judo or
Score
something.
points with the tip or edge. It's a big
Oh, sword. Oh, fencing.
spot.
Conductive
There you go.
clothing.
Yeah.
Come
Very
on,
good.
Charles, you're better than that.
Okay. The last one. There is evidence that this sport is 25,000 years old as a sport. Clue number 2. A fan is called a toxophilite.
Okay.
a fan of the sport, not like a physical fan.
Yeah.
A perfect score. A perfect score in qualification at the Olympic Games is 1,440 points. Wind is arguably the largest challenge in the outdoor variant of this sport.
Outdoor variants.
It is an Olympic sport, and events are contested at distances ranging from 30 to 90 meters.
Old.
It is old.
Are they all the clues I'm getting?
They are all the clues.
I was thinking something like...
I can give you a clue that
Heptathlon on
isn't
the
necessarily strictly factual because I'm remembering a fact that isn't rock.
Go on, take it.
I believe the world record for the 30-meter distance is 5 seconds.
That's not helped, even a little bit for me.
If I tell you that it's not just an Olympic sport, but it debuted as an Olympic sport in the Paris Olympics.
Okay. But it's very old.
Did it do you? It might have been the one before. Do we have an Olympics in 2020?
No, London. No, that's no fault.
You're old.
Yeah. So it's funny.
It debuted in a recent Olympics, basically.
I'm struggling. 30 to 90 meters.
Yeah.
Is it really stupid? I should get it.
I don't think so. I think when you've got the broad variety of every sport that exists,
It's quite hard to narrow down.
it's not obvious. It's obvious when you know.
What's the fan called again?
A toxopholite, which I'm going to tell you right now does not help.
Oh, perfect. Then I don't know.
Climbing.
Speed climbing 30 meters in 5 seconds.
Pretty crazy.
That is mental.
Yeah.
I don't think I can crawl flat.
You definitely.
No, I can't. That is mental.
Yeah. It's you running up a vertical slope.
Topography.
Toxopholite.
Oh.
Yeah.
That didn't help me at all.
No, when I read it, I was like, that has to be a clue because it's sick.
No, I think it was the Olympics before Paris.
It was.
Yeah. The climbing's fun to watch, actually. I should have got that.
Really good.
Was that the last one?
That was the last one.
That was not a good round.
It wasn't the best, but like I was just trying a new format. I think I'll stick to athletes for you. Maybe I'll bring new thing. I was going to do guess the team.
Yeah, too hard.
I was going to do guess the team, but maybe we'll do that
next time.
Yeah. What was the other game that we said we should do? Oh, guess the price.
Guess the price.
I love that.
Yeah, that would be good.
What's the game show called that does that as a whole thing? Guess the price. There's like a big wheel, and it's an American show. And
Family Fortunes.
No. Family Feud. No.
Deal or No Deal.
No, it's like the Price is Right.
Oh yeah.
We'll do the Price is Right.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to see the Price is Right, we will do that as a game in one of the upcoming episodes. Other than that, though, I think that wraps us up for this episode.
Yeah.
Anything else from yourself?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. Again, reminder: go get yourself some stuff from High Socks or Podium Chaser. Mindset 15 is the code. Get yourself 15% off, and you can find us at mindsets_podcast on all social platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Some of our content has been doing particularly well recently. So make sure you guys are going ahead and supporting that and suggesting more bits of content you'd like to see. Without further ado, guess we will see you all in the next episode.